Between the hours of 5 p.m. and 5:30 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday, and 24 hours a day on weekends and recognized holidays, Tennessee 811 allows RTE users to enter immediate emergencies online. It is important to note that this online entry is for immediate emergencies only. To qualify as an immediate emergency, the emergency must meet the emergency standards, and the crew must be at the project site prepared to begin excavation within 2 hours of placing the locate request. If you have an impending emergency, those will still need to be entered by calling the center 24 hours a day, 365 days a year by dialing 811 or 800-351-1111. An impending emergency is a request that meets the emergency standards, but where it will take the crew longer than the 2 hours to be on site to start. To place an emergency locate request, you will first need to use the drop-down menu for ticket type and select emergency. If you don't see ticket type as the first field on the ticket entry section of the screen, you are likely outside of the allowable time constraints. During normal business hours, you must call the center to place all emergency locate requests. Once you have successfully selected your emergency ticket type, you will see a pop-up box with the state's definition of emergency standards as well as Tennessee 811's disclaimer for entering emergencies online. If your request does not meet the emergency standards or you do not accept the liability covered in the disclaimer, then choose the I disagree button. You may then choose to start your request over as a normal ticket instead. If you understand and agree to the terms, you should click I agree to continue with your emergency locate request. After you agree to the standards and disclaimer, you will notice that your work on information has changed to today's date and current time. This will also show when your ticket will expire, as well as the date you should update your ticket by to ensure that there's no lapse in coverage should your project take longer than 15 calendar days to complete. You will also notice that the emergency script will automatically populate in the remarks field. Immediately after the emergency script, you should indicate when your crew will be on site. You can say crew en route if the crew is on their way, or if the crew is already there, you can simply state crew is on site. If your crew is neither on site or en route, then you can say crew will be on site within 2 hours. In our example, the crew is already on their way, so we will enter crew en route. Following the crew information, you will need to indicate where on the property you need to have the lines marked. In the center, we separate these items with an ellipsis to make it easier for the locators to read. You may do the same, or if you prefer, you may use grammatically correct sentences. Back to our example, I can enter the ellipsis, or ... and then request that the front of property be marked. You must complete all required fields as you would on any normal 72-hour locate request. While the order in which you enter the information isn't monitored or regulated, it is our strong suggestion that after agreeing to the standards and disclaimer that you move immediately to the information about when the crew will be on site, followed by where on the property you need the lines marked. This way it isn't so easy to forget to include these key pieces of information. Through the magic of modern technology, I've completed all required fields as well as mapped the location of our excavation site. Once you have done the same, you are ready to hit submit. Our system works in 15-minute increments, so depending on when you start your ticket and how long it takes you to complete it, the time that originally showed on your ticket may no longer be valid. If that's the case, you will see another pop-up box that looks similar to this. As you can see, I started my ticket a little bit before 11:30. It's taking me long enough that it is now after 11:30, and my time has now changed to 11:45 p.m. The only difference for your box will be that it shows the adjusted time for your emergency locate request instead of the date and time shown in my example. Once you hit OK, your emergency will be completed and you will receive your ticket number as well as the list of utility members notified. Some other important notes. Even though your ticket shows now for the work on date and time, the locators have 2 hours to mark these lines for you. If the lines are not marked within those 2 hours, you are responsible for notifying the center by dialing 811 or 800-351-1111. Second notice emergencies cannot be entered online. While those RTE users who have signed up to update tickets online may update normal tickets, they may not update emergency tickets. If your project will take longer than 15 calendar days, you should call the center to update the ticket so that the emergency information can be removed. You should do so by the update date listed on your ticket. Please note that all times are listed in Central. If you are in the Eastern time zone, make sure to keep that in mind when you are reading your work on date and times, as well as your update dates and your expiration dates and times.